Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you enjoy our content, please consider donating and following our socials. So we're going to talk about wisdom.
Okay.
So let's start with the dictionary definition.
All right.
The quality or state of being wise. A knowledge of what is true or right, coupled with just judgment as to action.
Uh-huh.
All right. So based
You know
on
what I've always heard?
what?
Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
Based on that, what?
No,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I remember the whole entire thing, knowledge is knowing that tomatoes are fruit.
Mhm.
Wisdom's knowing you don't put it in a fruit salad.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right.
But no, technically, wait a minute. Technically, I did learn one little thing from one of our neophytes. Technically, there is no such thing as vegetables. Everything's a fruit. Yep.
Okay.
That's why our little gardening person finally told me there is no such thing. Vegetables is a culinary thing, not necessarily a farming thing. Everything's a fruit in farming.
Okay. I refuse to call it that, but okay. They're still vegetables. All right. So anyway,
now that I've gone on that tirade,
right, and we've gotten completely off topic. So based on the definition, what do you think is the biggest misunderstanding about wisdom in the pagan community?
Well, everybody thinks wisdom can be learned from a book. Wisdom isn't that comes from a book. It's that comes from experience.
Right.
It's one thing to sit down and, again, just like I was just talking about Eva, it's one thing to sit down and read this little book on fermentation. It's another thing to actually do it.
Right.
That's where wisdom comes from.
Yeah, it comes from actually doing, living, experiencing.
Right. So when you hear this wisdom, when you hear wisdom from people, it's because they've experienced it. In other words, they made that mistake and they're trying to keep you from making that mistake.
Right.
This is the only way you can short circuit the process of learning wisdom is to talk to someone who's already done it to some extent.
Right.
And I think we have a lot of people that keep on thinking that gaining knowledge is somehow wisdom.
No,
wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's not. But yeah, I think that is probably the biggest problem or misunderstanding or misconception.
See, I even say wisdom sort of like goes beyond understanding. And I've argued for years that there's a difference between knowing something and understanding it. If you know something, you can use it.
Right.
If you understand it, you can manipulate it to your advantage.
Right.
But wisdom is what comes when you start to manipulate it to your advantage and you start to realize where it's going to break, where it's not going to break, where it's going to hold, which is back to experience.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have this whole entire problem in the pagan community. When it comes to this, nobody wanted the teacher. Nobody wanted anything. Nobody wanted to hear any of this.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of that going around. And still is to some extent.
And to some extent, and now all these elders that we had, the elders that, I was around and you were trained by and all this other stuff, they're disappearing.
They are.
We are losing that wisdom and trying to replace it with books, podcasts, vlogs. And I don't think it's working quite as well as we think it is.
No, of course not. I mean, it can't. It's so hard without being face to face with someone and reading facial expressions and body language and the tone of voice and all of that. All of that comes together to convey the importance of what you're saying. And we miss a lot of that in the digital age because a lot of what we're getting is just audio.
Right. Or just text on pages. And
Right.
Well, I don't have problems with text on pages. I wish everybody would keep in mind, depending on the mood you're in, depends on how it sounds when you read it.
That is so true.
I can make a lot of comments out online and stuff like this. And yeah, I'm sorry, if you're in a bad mood and you read it, you're going to really think I'm an ass. If you're really in a good mood, you're going to think I'm hilarious as get out.
Well, I mean, how many times have you been banned from a subreddit because of something you said?
That's something I said. And I'm still sitting back going, I don't see what's wrong with what I said.
Right? I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not. But how are we supposed to gain wisdom in all of this if people refuse to communicate with one another?
Right.
If we refuse to talk?
Yeah, we
because
can't.
again, I do see this as yes, I make comments on this, and I see people. Well, I'm just not even going to respond to this, or I'm going to ignore it altogether because it makes me question my beliefs. Wisdom tells us that don't actually happen like you think it does.
Right.
If you believe in something, you believe in it. This is how you wind up with the Heaven's Gate people. True.
Yeah.
I mean, they believed. They truly, sincerely believed, and they did what in the world they thought.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. When you've got true belief in whatever it is, it can be pretty dynamic in and of itself.
But again, I will sit here and argue belief is not wisdom.
No.
Wisdom's knowing more of when not to speak than when to speak. I sit here and try my best to encourage people. You need to go out and do and quit reading.
Well, I do have a question here because in this definition that we gave, it mentioned just judgment.
Yes.
How does just judgment fit into wisdom?
Well, it's understanding the circumstances of what's going on. Not every problem is the exact same.
No, most problems are unique unto themselves for the most part.
Well, for the most part, I mean, some are pretty common. You have to have some wisdom there. Okay. Because again, and not trying to stir up any politics here, but what's really the difference between killing someone and self defense? There's some judgment there where we have to decide where that line crosses.
So that's that just judgment?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think so many people ignore that part of it and just go for the knowledge?
Because it's easier. It's easier to go with your gut reaction. It's easier to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to stand for this and all this other stuff, but I'm not going to actually look at the facts of what's going on. Wisdom tells us, okay, normally when we do this, we wind up getting ourselves in trouble later. It is easier to sit down, calm down, and go, here, let's look at what's actually going on and get rid of all the stuff that really don't matter to this. What happened here?
Right.
That's wisdom. Wisdom's going, okay, I understand everybody's emotional. Calm down. Let's look at what actually happened. But that ain't what people are doing now. There's no judgment there. It's completely automatically, I'm being attacked.
True. And honestly, that's not even knowledge. That's just that's just foolishness.
Well, again, it's not just running from knowledge, it's running from wisdom too. For crying out loud. I just give you an example. All right. I put up something on our Discord, not on Discord, on our Reddit subreddit. All right. Which is basically asking the question of why do we call all these things shrines why do we call them all altars instead of shrines? Because the definition of a shrine is this. This is what y'all are doing. It's been out for 24 hours. Nobody said anything. A bunch of people viewed it. Nobody sat there going, well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I haven't even go to hell.
Right.
My point is, why not interact? Why not say something? Why not, even if you disagree, It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like we cannot get involved in certain conversations because we might look like idiots in the end.
Well,
You
I
know, where
mean,
my problem is, oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's just, I was just going to say where, my problem is I don't mind looking like an idiot. I'll ask the questions.
Well, I mean, sometimes I know, like sometimes for me, I'll stay out of a conversation if I don't know anything about it. But if I have a question about something, if I may be listening to that conversation and I have a question, whether it's stupid or not, I'm going to ask it because maybe it's giving me something that I don't know.
But I have to ask this: is it our generation? We were basically told to question everything,
Pretty much, yeah.
or is that a Gen X thing?
I don't know. It could be a Gen X, but the question, my question to that is, if it is a Gen X thing, why didn't we pass it on?
Why not? I mean, because I remember in school, there's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the one that wasn't asked.
Right, the one that wasn't asked. I mean,
Again, that
if
was
you don't
drilled
ask a
into our
question,
heads as kids.
right, if you don't ask the question, you're never going to get the answer. I mean,
Right.
it's that
So
simple.
even if you don't really have a vested interest in the thing or anything, and you have an opinion, give it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make no sense the running and hiding I see the pagan community doing at large. It's kind of like we really can't afford anyone to ask questions about our beliefs because as soon as we do, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to have a problem. But nobody sees it as a way to strengthen their beliefs.
Right.
I don't
I,
understand that.
I don't either, and unfortunately, you can't make it make sense. I mean, you just can't.
True.
So I do have another question here. Where does intuition fit into gaining wisdom? Since we're talking about wisdom, and
And not
we do trust your intuition, trust your instincts, da
intuition.
da da.
Yes, we do.
How does that fit into gaining wisdom?
The way I'm going to look at it is intuition is that moment where you walk into a room or something and you just got that bad feeling like, yeah, those parties that you go to, and as soon as you arrive, you're like, yeah, this is not going to
Mm-hmm.
end well.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to leave. This is when intuition and wisdom work together.
Or you meet that person and
Because
and they automatically rub you the wrong way, and you haven't even met them yet.
way and yeah. And wisdom kicks in going, it's time for me to get into my vehicle, go home, and get away from this place.
Mm-hmm.
Intuition is only that bad feeling. It's only a guess. It's not the full story. And we have to have wisdom to discern what in the world our intuition is telling us.
So why do so many people treat their intuition as some divine sanctioned wisdom?
You got me. I consider our intuition part of our fight and flight system.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. It's the precursor to that kicking in. It's just your body sitting there going, hey, you need to pay attention to what's going on around you right now. There's some things your brain is picking up on that you're not quite putting together that throws up warning signs. Hey, this might not be a good idea.
Right. It's like, hello, wake up.
Hello. We're back to the problem is until you experience that and you don't listen to your wisdom and you keep on going and you see how bad it goes, you're never going to gain the wisdom to go, yeah, that's a bad idea when I feel that.
Well, now, do you think that people treating their intuition or their gut feelings like some divine message, if you will,
Right.
do you think that that's creating more problems for us as pagans?
Actually, I think it is. I'm not saying people don't get divine inspiration, but to me, that intuition is self-contained. It's not the gods, it's us. That's part of our makeup
Right.
to have those feelings and stuff to kind of warn us. Yeah, there's some things here that your subconscious is like throwing up flags going, hey, I don't think the intuition is a containment to the divine.
So
or
essentially,
messages from the divine.
it's a gift. You could say it's a gift
Right.
from the divine,
I could,
but it
but
comes from within.
right. It's along the lines of psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit more subtle than actually being able to talk to spirits or any of these other things that we talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Intuition's a little bit less than that.
Right.
It's that moment where you're reading those cards and you have that moment where you're flipping over that card and you know the meaning of that card's this, but for some reason you can't quit thinking about something else. That's that intuition. That's this card doesn't represent this for this person anymore.
Right.
The normal definition goes out the window. And you're looking, and again, I don't know about anybody else, but when I read cards, that's when I normally sit there going, "Hey, my intuition. I have a feeling." Is that not how we describe intuition?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's a feeling.
wisdom is the experience to know, okay, yeah, that guy's drinking way too much too fast and he's getting too rowdy already. There's going to be an issue later I don't want to be involved in. It's time to go
Is
because you
there
see the pattern of behavior.
right? So is there a time when, say, intuition and wisdom would lead to completely different actions?
Yes.
Can
Yes,
you
I believe so.
can you expand on that a little bit?
Have you ever been on a job interview and be like talking to the boss and doing the interview,
Mm-hmm.
but just get a bad feeling about the interview, the boss, the whole 9 yards, something about them just doesn't sit well? That's
Once
your intuition going, yeah,
once or twice, yeah.
yeah, all right. But yet, when you look at the job on paper, the details, the benefits, and everything, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom would tell you to take the job. Intuition tells you not to.
Gotcha.
Wisdom and intuition don't always align. So
Okay.
again, you have to make that choice. Do I follow my intuition saying, yeah, if I get this job, me and this boss might be butting heads all the time, which won't make it a good work environment? Or do I do it anyway, keep my mouth shut and knowing this ahead of time that me and this guy's going to butt heads and I'm just going to have to eat a lot of crow to
Right.
take the job because I need the benefits and everything else?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're asking ourselves that question where our wisdom and our intuition are not necessarily lining up.
Well, then, given that they don't always line up, why do you think so many pagans push intuition over wisdom?
Because they want that moment. They want what they're really wanting is a divine revelation, not intuition. We're back to I think we're labeling things wrong here.
We've discussed that before,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah, I think again, and I think this is where this is just nothing more than a labeling problem. Intuition's a bad feeling that you get or something to guide you one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Divine revelation is just that. It's just it. It makes no sense. It's the thought that pops in your head out of nowhere.
Right. It's that aha moment.
Right. It's the eureka moment.
Right. We like to describe it as the light bulb goes off in your
The
head
light
about
bulb.
something.
Or that moment, 2 seconds right before you use that hair dryer in the shower and you realize it's a bad idea and why.
Well, yeah.
It makes you realize there's a reason there's a warning label here. Somebody did this.
Right.
This to me is the lack of wisdom. This is why we see a lot of younger people do this. They lack the experience of life.
Right.
Because I mean, I've seen the same problem with more adults getting out of college, confusing that piece of paper with experience.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to understand, okay, what is the company actually asking for? We want you to have experience. Well, maybe not in that field. We want you to have experience working in a corporation. You understand the
Mm-hmm.
cultures, you understand how the rules work, you understand how in the world everything is. And I'm not going to have to sit here and explain to you and hold your hand when you get turned down for because you ain't got no PTO time.
Right.
Because you don't understand how all this works. That's what entry level jobs are for.
Yeah.
It's to get you used to the corporate life.
Yeah. I mean, you could think of it as the degree is your knowledge, but without the experience, you don't have the wisdom.
You don't have the wisdom to use it. These things work together, but they're not necessary. And I think we get a lot of them confused. We want to sit there and consider our intuition and wisdom the same thing.
Yeah.
But they're not. Intuition is that thing going, no, you should not go into that dark cave. Intuition is everybody watching a horror movie going, no, don't go outstairs.
Right. Don't answer the phone. Don't open that door.
That door. If you've ever watched a horror movie in a theater, this is what wisdom is.
Right.
I mean, that's what intuition is. It's that we know it's a bad thing. We know it's a bad idea. Don't do it.
Probably,
and I don't know why
the best
people
example ever.
Well, again, that's intuition. You know, hey, yeah, you just had some guy try to kill you multiple times, and there's a knock on the door. Yeah, I'm going to open it without thinking about it.
So do you think, given the way the conversation's gone, do you think that a lot of people in the community are just teaching people what to think instead of how to think?
I think you might be right there. I think we are teaching people to be more. We're telling people what to think versus how to think.
Right, and there is a distinct
I see
difference.
that a lot. Yes, there's a big difference between that. All right, getting people to think for themselves is a whole lot greater challenge than anything else.
It really is.
I mean, because again, we're back to this whole entire concept of if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach him the fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Right.
It's true. All right. I mean, hence the reason why in the world, in every wildlife preserve, there's always a sign: do not feed the animals. They become dependent on it and quit acting like animals and wait on handouts instead.
Right. I mean,
and the food you feed them isn't as good as what they're getting.
I was going to say that's pretty evident when you go to parks that do the drive-through experience things, and you see the wild animals coming up to vehicles. It's because people are feeding them.
Yeah,
and it's changing the way they interact with the world. It's
changing their behaviors.
Right, they become reliant on that.
They sort of forget how to scavenge for food.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why should I have to scavenge? Why should I have to teach my pups to scavenge if I can just go here and find food? I'm sorry. I'll take the least resistance of,
Right.
Why use the extra energy if you can?
Just like everything else. I do have another question, and this one, I find it intriguing. Okay. Why do you think so many people in the community treat titles and degrees as proof of wisdom instead of proof of study?
I don't see degrees as proof of wisdom.
I know, but I'm asking what's your opinion on why people think that just because you hold a third degree, then you have large amounts of wisdom?
It really shouldn't be that way. But again, you're looking at a progression too.
Well, yeah.
There's an experience there. I mean, there's a difference between that sophomore going into school and that senior going out.
Right. But you also know that just because the way we do our degree system is not the same way that everybody else does theirs, or some other people would do theirs. Not. So we do know that in some instances, the degrees don't necessarily come with experience.
No.
It's you do this amount of work and you get your degree.
and you get your degree, or you've hit a level. Well, again, for us, remember, it is a spiritual matter. So again, just because you finish classes doesn't mean you get first degree.
Right. But I'm back to perceptions.
Right. Understand the perception of it, but for people to try to link degrees to wisdom, that's a little bit of a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. It's just that you have shown proficiencies to be a priest or a priestess, and you've demonstrated that over and over again.
Right.
Because the wisdom and the experience comes in actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to be that way. You're not going to become a very wise counselor until you actually start counseling people.
Right.
I'll explain it to you this way. All right. I used to be in housekeeping and I did special projects. So it means I did a lot of stripping and waxing floors.
Mm-hmm.
And I would explain to people, you come to me, I can teach you how to strip and wax floors in 2 weeks. It will take you about 2 to 3 years to actually become a professional.
Right.
And that is for you to run into all the ways it goes wrong that I didn't tell you about to begin with, that I didn't think of at the time.
Right.
Because again, as simple as much, and I know a lot of people probably sitting there rolling their eyes about this, but if you take that stripping solution and don't add enough water in there, you got a mess later.
Yeah.
And you won't know what to do until that actually happens. I don't know if I feel like I'm not saying it correctly.
Well, and that's unfortunate because for me, it makes perfect sense because I've kind of been there. So I don't know. I mean, if anybody has a question about that, feel free to let us know.
All right,
we'll
please,
try to reword
because
it
again,
differently.
I don't know how to say this, but yeah, I mean, here's the reason. But this is why we have certain degrees and stuff where you're required to do so many hours of act, like doctors. Doctors
Mm-hmm.
have to be observed and have to do their clinicals. They're monitored the whole entire time to make sure they don't kill anybody.
Right.
But until they're in that situation.
Yeah. But well, I was going to say, I think that even then, just because they walk out with a degree and the title of doctor or physician or whatever you want to call them, that does not give them a whole lot of wisdom.
No.
Yes,
it doesn't give them a whole lot of it.
They've done their clinicals, they've done certain things to meet those requirements, but until they've been in the field for several years, they're not really going to gain any wisdom.
Because as soon as that first person that comes in who doesn't quite match up to everything completely, it starts throwing off the whole diagnosis.
Well, and it's the same thing with our third degrees. Third degrees
yes.
for us, to get your third degree, you have to prove that you know how to use everything that we've given you and actually run a coven.
I mean, basically, how do we handle this? Literally, your second degree, you're going to go for a third. Fine. You're running our temple for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you have me and the lady breathing down your neck the whole entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You're making the decisions, what we're doing for ritual, what we're not doing for ritual, the timing, the scheduling. And we're sitting back going, okay. Or not okay.
Right. But my point is that even if you manage to get to that point and you get that third degree, it's not until you've actually been a third degree for several years that you're actually going to start gaining any wisdom. So you can't.
No, not really.
You can't say just because I hold this title.
No.
I have wisdom.
No. The wisdom comes later. Knowledge comes first. Wisdom always comes later.
Mm-hmm.
Like counseling, to be exact. Okay. It's one thing to sit there and go, okay, we're going to teach you how to counsel.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing when you sit down to actually do it. People don't always talk the way you're trained to listen to.
Mm-mm.
It's easy for counselors and other stuff and especially priests and priests to be pulled down a path that they really should not be going down to because of the person.
Right.
Because they want to think they're cursed, because they want to think all this other stuff or whatever. It's easy to get trapped in that emotional loop with them.
It's super easy.
All right. without the wisdom to understand what's going on, to see it actually and process, you're never going to stop it and you're never actually going to fix the problem.
Right.
All you're going to do is reinforce what in the world the person already believes.
Well, then for anyone who might be listening who feels like they need to start building wisdom or gaining wisdom instead of just like collecting facts or knowledge, where do you think they should start with that?
If you're doing herbs and you keep on following the same recipes over and over again, try something different. Pick a random herb instead and see what happens. I'm not saying, mass produce it for 50 billion people, make one little batch.
Right.
That's where in the world this begins. If you've ever tried to learn how to cook until you get into the kitchen and you accidentally grab the salt instead of the sugar, you're never actually going to learn.
Yep.
Until you actually do the stuff. It's great to sit there and read about all these rituals and stuff. It's different when you're actually doing the ritual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you with what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's this thing in the A Witch's Bible Complete. All right. And Lord Min was telling me about this when I was still learning. He's like, okay, we this book came out. We did the classes before they came out with the book and the whole 9 yards. So they did the mail order classes from the Lafarge.
Right.
All right. Before they published the book. In one of these sections, they talk about how to make this special black paint to paint on your walls and all this. And he's like, okay, by the time you go through all this process and stuff, let me tell you how this turns out. It's easier just to go out and buy black paint and just paint your walls and call it a damn day. Because you're doing this handmade paint, it takes about 2 weeks to a month for it to even dry.
Yeah.
You know what? And you know what? Since I've took over Tipple, we have never done this. We will never do this.
No.
Because that's where wisdom was. They did it. All right. I mean, I remember him telling them about a story about when they thought they had to do the whole sulfur line. All right. It used to believe that to create sacred space, a permanent sacred space, you had to put down this coke line of sulfur for King Kong and set it on fire. Do you know how hard it is to find that much sulfur?
Do you know how hard it is?
Or just every day.
Do you know how hard it is to breathe in that much sulfur being burned?
Do you know how hard it is to get it to start burning? Because what? The only sulfur they could find was the one that you actually find from the garden places, which was fertilizer, which don't burn that, just don't burn that well.
It doesn't burn.
Like sulfur does.
Right. Lord.
So again, this is what we're talking about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in witchcraft books that sound great until you actually try to do them and you're like, this don't make no sense.
Right.
There's the difference. Well, I got a better idea of this, all right? To stress my point one more time. You at one time was trying to learn how to do what? Incense combs.
Yeah.
All right. To make it even worse was you were working with Lady Keegan on this. Who knows how to do this?
Yep.
She literally, she's done it enough times.
Yep.
How bad did that go?
Oh, it went horrible. It went horrible. Yeah, nothing.
But yet
they wouldn't burn. They wouldn't. No, yeah, it was awful.
It was awful. And I'm not insulting you. It's just the fact is for you to probably really learn, you need to be in like the same room with her, going, "Oh no, here's where in the world you're messing up."
Right. Yeah.
Which will be that thing that's not in the instructions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now I have a question for you. Is it that we as Southerners happen to be a little bit more used to this type of process than other cultures in the United States?
I don't know. Why would that kind of explain why you're asking that question?
I'll explain it with one word: potato salad recipe.
Yeah.
Are you with what I'm saying? Let me explain to everybody else, okay? My family has a potato salad recipe.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to learn this potato salad recipe is to be actually hand taught by somebody else in the family. Otherwise, when you get the recipe, it's just a list of ingredients. No amount, no nothing. And if you've never done it before, you don't have a clue.
Right.
This is very common in a lot of older style cooking, especially in the South.
I think
Is this not?
I think there probably are some situations similar to that in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
But I do think it is probably a little more prevalent in the South.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe we've just become accustomed to it a little bit more.
Accustomed to this type of behavior and like, oh yeah, I know exactly what this is.
Right. So maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it like that, but yeah.
I mean, to me, this is sort of the ultimate in wisdom.
Okay.
All right. Or you could look at it as the ultimate spell too. So, because you're just throwing random ingredients into a bowl and mixing it all together.
Yeah.
To some extent. Does this make any sense on this?
I think it does.
All right.
I hope it does.
So, from the lack of wisdom on this part.
Right. So this is where input comes in from other people. So, all right. Let's go get some coffee. Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning